If you are trying your absolute best to faithfully do what God has called you to do, but you're not seeing the results that you expected to see after all the effort you've been putting out, you might be falling into the quick win trap. I was stuck in that. And at times I still get stuck in that, right? It's the quick wins are when you give like a big push to get a quick result and it feels really good, right? It feels like you're getting somewhere, but it's not enough to actually sustain you in the long run, to get those long-term results that you've been wanting to get. So I'm in a different spot than normal because I was working on something else and then it's like, you know what? We're just kind of ready to go. So let's just make the next video. So hopefully I've got all my thoughts together. But we are going to talk about, okay, I'm gonna point the finger at me, and if you see yourself in my story, then you can point your finger at you. And because I want to share something that I've been realizing about myself this last week, and that if I do not conquer it, again, I'm going to keep pointing the finger at me, talking about like I. But so I've been realizing that if I do not figure this out, it's going to really bite me in the butt in the long run. And so I'm going to talk about, on this channel, I talk about as Christian women, how do we do our kingdom work, whether it's a big thing or a small thing, whatever it is, it's unique to each one of us. It's that thing that we are, it's the combination of what you see, like what has God shown you, what do you naturally see, and what are you inspired and motivated to do about it based on who you are and the skills that you have and what you bring to the table. And so it's that thing that you're called to do. Okay, real quick. If you want more clarity, more focus, and the ability to follow through on that dream that God has given you, it's that thing that you really want to do for Jesus, and it is time that you do it, then hop on the wait list and you will be one of the first ones to receive the On Purpose Planner. It is a planner designed to get you doing your kingdom work without the burnout, without the overwhelm, and without just adding a bunch of random things to your to-do list. So that's what I'm talking about ultimately, but I'm going to show you or tell you about an example that I've noticed in different areas in my home. So this is something that you can apply to absolutely anything, but I am ultimately talking about your kingdom work and how do you successfully do that. But before I dive into that, if you are wanting help with your kingdom work, if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, or maybe you're just, anytime that you think of doing it or you want to do it, all it means to you is like, this is just going to add 10 more things to my already full to-do list. I have something for you. It's currently in the works, not ready yet, but you can join the wait list. The link is in the description below. It's the 12-week On Purpose Planner. It's a planner designed to help you take your kingdom work and we're going to figure out what is that next milestone, what are the next moves you need to take in order to get there in a way that doesn't, if anything, it takes away the overwhelm and the exhaustion and the burnout. So you can grab that in the description below. Okay, so I want to talk about, just checking my notes, but I want to talk about my freezer. I want to talk about my wardrobe. I want to talk about, I think I had like 3, 4, or 5 categories, but like it has shown up a lot in my, like in the freezer, and I guess with projects as well, and then with my wardrobe, with my kids' wardrobe. And this is the problem, that I love quick wins, right? Like I love, when you solve a problem and you like, or if something's not working, you just like, you sit with it, you figure it out, and then you go and you get the thing, or you do the thing, or you pull everything out of your closet and you organize it, and you kind of like, you get a quick win. And so I really enjoy that process, right? Like figuring out what's actually going wrong, and then what do I need to do or buy in order to fix it, and then fixing it. And this has to do, like, I over the last several weeks, I've just been intentionally working. Winter is kind of the time that I like to work on getting ahead in sort of like whether it's a project or going through your wardrobe or just kind of like solving sort of those more in the house kinds of things. And just quick side note, like this winter, I was going through some papers. All right, papers is a whole nother category I've been working on. So I've been going through paper. I was going through papers. I found a note from 12 years ago that said it was something to do with like one of the things I wanted to work on was decreasing the stuff in our freezer, because it's always like full to the top and we only use like the top quarter, like 25%. And so that was a note from 12 years ago. The last 12 years have not, like it's been the same. It's always full. We always use a certain amount. Seeing that note made me realize I actually want to figure this out. So, and I have been, and it has been amazing. Like I've been going in, I like to use ChatGPT for this. I'll go and find something really random that I don't know how to use. I feel overwhelmed by it. And then I'll throw it into ChatGPT and I'm like, these are the ingredients I have. Can you give me some options? It'll give options. I pick it, I make it. And I've been able to do that with a whole bunch of things and get rid of, like, our freezer's actually half empty, and it's never been that way. So that's been a really big win. But it's led me to realize that even after solving these things in these different categories, I keep looking for the next thing to solve because it's fun. It gives me an emotional high. I'm like, I like this process. I feel like I'm getting somewhere. But I know that like it's also left me in this place where I like those quick wins are not going to sustain the long-term results. I want long-term results with my YouTube channel. I want long-term results with the way our house functions, with homeschooling, which we're going to be doing, with like all these things that we want to see, where we want to create a healthy, good home structure. Like I don't want to just give 3 months to a really deep Bible study. I want to actually be, not that that's like, yeah, I would totally do that, but the long-term results in my relationship with God is going to come from reading small portions every day. And that's with across the board with everything in my life. I want the long-term results that come from consistency. The problem I'm being faced with is that it's boring. Like, honestly, I don't know what the moment was that made me realize this, but I was like, all of a sudden it just hit me in the face where I'm like, I keep looking for these things that create these quick wins. And we've got Millie. So I want these things that create these quick wins, but that it kind of like, that quick win doesn't actually sustain or do anything long-term. So yeah, it gets stuff out of the way or it solves something. But the problem with a quick win kind of cycle is that I get frustrated with the way things are. I put out a whole bunch of effort to solve it. It all looks really good. Like, if you think of your wardrobe, right? It's cluttered. It's your outfits aren't functioning. Like nothing's functioning. So you're frustrated. You put out all that effort and then you solve it. Looks amazing and works for a couple weeks. And then it slowly just gets disorganized again. And because it's like your system is to create quick wins rather than creating a good, like, ongoing, slow, boring system that actually sustains you long term and gives you the daily results that you're wanting to get. And so I'm always kind of, I'm going through this cycle of quick win, slowly goes, like, whatever it is, slowly turns into chaos, and then I've got to like put out all this effort to get that quick win again, only to go through this like crazy cycle. And it's like, I don't like this cycle that I have been maintaining. And yet it gives me that emotional high, which I realize, like, okay, I have to actually decide, do I want that long-term joy of something working, or do I want that emotional high where I have to put out all this effort but it's not actually sustained, right? It's just going to like slowly unravel. And so I know that I want these healthy systems. It's just that they're boring. And I'm really being faced with, I have to learn or just make the choice to say, okay, I'm going to do the boring system. Like this year, if I could just create boring systems across the board, boring routines, and it's not that it has to be like an exciting routine versus a boring routine, but just routine sounds boring. And it's I know once I'm doing it and it's actually it's a routine that fits, it's not going to be boring, right? It's if anything, routines give you space to do the fun stuff. It gives you space where like your home is functioning, everyone is eating well. It's like everything is just like working, and then you're able to. It gives you a launch pad to do the things that matter to you and to your family, and so it's like routines are that structure that just gives life to the rest of life. But right now, it just sounds so boring. So that's why this video is about. Ultimately, it's just like, it's got to be boring if it's going to work. If you want to do your kingdom work, if you want like anything in life, if you're wanting it to function, but again, I'm going to bring it back around to your kingdom work. It's your life's purpose, or whether it's for a season of your life or for the rest of your life, it's that thing that you know that God is calling you to do and to focus on, not just to do, but to do well. Guess what, you guys? I am currently building a planner I wish I had when I felt both overwhelmed and frustrated, not knowing what to do, but still felt called, knowing what I wanted to do. Just I didn't know how to get there. So if that sounds interesting to you, then join the waitlist. The link is in the description below, and you will be one of the first ones to receive it as soon as it's ready. My apologies. I just went off on a tangent and then was getting like all wordy. So I am going to be deleting that part, but I don't remember at what point I started going down that bunny trail. So I have no idea if I like totally dropped off of a thought there. But talking about your kingdom work, I wanted to say that just because if this is also you, this will probably be very helpful for you to hear. When years ago, or I guess it was probably kind of over a several year time, I had to realize like that just as I'm like trying to, I didn't know like how much of my kingdom work is mine, how much is God's, how much effort is supposed to go into this, how much rest is there even supposed to be rest in, which yes, there is. But I didn't know that, right? So I had to like figure all this out as time was going on. And I realized that I was relating to my kingdom work not as this joy project between my Father in heaven and me as a child of God, but I was relating to it like this airplane that I had to I had to give this like put out all this effort to not only get it off the ground, but to keep it in the air and to keep it going. And so because I related to the work that I want to do as that kind of like airplane, all this effort to get it off the ground and keep it in the air kind of way, I felt overwhelmed by it because it's like that. It's too much for a person to be able to do. And instead, what I had to come to was just realizing like my feet are on the ground. I'm doing this with Jesus. I'm trusting him. This is a part that I get to play in his big picture, but this is not mine to carry. It doesn't mean that I'm not responsible for different things, or that I'm not responsible for if I let's say in a video, if I say something that ends up really, who knows, I could have the best effort, or the best of intentions. I could say the wrong thing. And if I get feedback that it's really hurtful to people, or I said something wrong, I'm responsible to respond well to that and to apologize and to make that right. And I know, there might be comments where people are just going to say whatever, but I think you know what I mean, right? If there's like a genuine, I'm realizing, okay, I messed up here, or I blundered, I need to make that right. So yes, what I realized was that Darian's getting very excited. What I realized was that I don't have to get anything off the ground and keep it up in the air. Like that is just a wrong way to relate to the work that God has called me to. Instead, I'm on the ground, walking with Jesus, learning to trust him. I'm doing my work. But when I need to rest, I can go rest. I don't have to try to keep up this like high level of effort while I'm trying to also sleep. And hopefully that makes sense. I'm quite convinced I'm not the only one who has felt that. So if you are currently carrying that burden, just be released to let that go and to really become aware of that, to journal with that, to talk to God about that and ask him to show you the part that you get to play, right? Where it's not all on you. It's also like, it's not for you to also totally let it go and just be like, well, I guess if God wants to make it happen, it'll just happen. If it's on your heart to do something for God, whether it feels big or feels small, then do it, right? And if you are in a season of waiting and you know you're in a season of waiting, then wait. But it's also that sometimes I think we've just gotten too used to being in a season of like waiting when, and it's like we're waiting for God to make something happen when you might just know in your spirit that it's like, you got to make something happen. So if it's time to make something happen, grab the On Purpose Planner. In the description below, it's a 12-week planner designed to help you do your kingdom purpose on purpose, to stop waiting. But you know, even in that, even once you like get going, there's still going to be seasons of waiting. There's going to be seasons of trust, of setbacks, of like developing your character and who you are, and just seasons where you might be totally on track from God's perspective, but you feel like you're totally off track. So if you want help with this, then I am here for you. You can grab that planner in the description below. Actually, I'm saying grab the planner. It's not ready yet. I'm currently making it. So join the wait list. When the planner's ready, you will be one of the first ones to know.